Platinum Witness. Sabrina is picking up ground over near the inside, followed by What a Lovely Day. Heavens Above out deep on the track, and then Rustic Melody, Ungrateful Alan, followed by No Tricks, Exquisite Jewel. Winx is on her way forward now. They're followed by Zazali. Further back, Swift Lady, Anaphora, and Yulong Baby is last. They come to the home turn. Colin Lil, the leader. Imperial Lass is issuing the challenge on the outside as they come around the bend. They're three in front of Ballet Suite, Sabrina, Rustic Melody, Heavens Above, and Winx has pulled to the outside. 300 metres to go. Imperial Ass has gone to the lead from Colin Lil. Here's Winx. She's winding up, and have a look at her go inside the 200 metres mark. And Winx has raced to the lead from Imperial Ass, Ungrateful Alan. And this is a monstrous win on the Oaks. Winx ease down, 3 lengths, Ungrateful Alan. Imperial Ass third from Zazali, Rustic Melody, No Tricks. Followed by Ballet Suite, Yulong Baby, What a Lovely Day, Sabrina, Colin Lil. A long way back, Exquisite Jewel.
Winx winning the 2015 Queensland Oaks, which we're going to get see tomorrow, the 2021 renewal tomorrow. Did she go on to anything, Beaver? Can't remember.
I think won a few after that.
Yeah, might have
maybe.
Strung a couple together.
Strung a couple together, won a few dollars, and turned out to be a fair horse. So, don't know we'll be seeing any Winx out of tomorrow's Oaks, but there you go.
Yeah, so she was a previous title holder in the Group 1 tomorrow, which we'll get into at Eagle Farm. It is Show Us Your Tips. It is Pro Group Racing's preview show, looking at Eagle Farm and Rosehill tomorrow afternoon. How's the week treated you, Beaver?
Yeah, week's treating me well, mate. Nice to see the sun out. Rain's gone away, so hopefully a good day's racing in Sydney and a better day up at the Eagle Farm.
Yeah, we'll kick off with Eagle Farm, where it's dry. Rails in the
good.
Dry. The rails in the 2 metre mark. Not a lot of similar setups. The last one was, I believe, back in March, and it played a little bit up and off, so it was sort of on pace but off the rails. That was a little bit wetter that day, but we'll see how we get through tomorrow. Any thoughts on how the track might play, or happy to watch and learn?
Yeah, look, I think for days like this, given the sort of changing track conditions and the movement of the rail, I think you've got to sort of probably watch and learn a bit. But I expect that it'll probably be pretty fair and, probably just off the rails down the middle of the track. Generally, you don't want to be too far back, I think, particularly in some of the more sprint-type races.
Yeah. Any confidence or shaken confidence in the Eagle Farm track after the last couple of weeks, or?
Yeah, look, it always worries me. These types of fields, they're really open fields. Again, there tomorrow with a lot of chances, so it can be really tough to find a winner. And for some reason, just some horses out of the ordinary here pull out really good runs this time of year, and that's always a little bit of a challenge as well. Some of those sort of going into the winter months, but you can also find some that don't have a lot of form in other states and go to Brisbane and perform really well.
Yeah, some of those Godolphin horses tend to grow a leg with some Queensland sun on their back. We'll kick off in the first.
That's right.
A benchmark 80 over the 1810. You want to kick us away here, King of the North?
Yeah, look, probably a pretty tough race to start the day here. The 810 metre benchmarks 80. Yes, look, the favourite Prince of Aragon, I always say this time of year, winning form's good form. But so it will be hard to beat. But I've gone for the impressive last start winner in Massif from the Waller stable. Thought it was really good. Its form this time in was pretty ordinary down in Melbourne. But last start drove through, won well at Ipswich. Again, not so sure about the Ipswich form into this, but a lot of these horses, sort of come through that type of form lines and that type of setup. So I'm hoping Massif has taken some benefit from that. The Queensland sun is helping it, and Waller has it cherry right.
I didn't realise that was entirely the form. That was its first win in Australia. It feels like it's been around for 8 years, Massif. But it was a nice enough win, I suppose. I'm gonna go with
so just going a bit left field.
Okay, yeah. Anything else, Dad?
Yeah, go mate. No, that's it.
Going to go with the favourite. I thought it was pretty good, chiming in on a slow tempo last start, and Craig Williams is stuck with it. Gate 10 is probably the concern, because if it is on pace, I think it's probably going to be back and last, unless there's some real intent early. So happy to stick there for now. See how the track's playing. It won't be a massive bet. What you said about Massive's breakthrough is probably right. Traduce has been going all right last 2 starts, but 5 weeks between runs was a concern there. So I'll stick with the favourite, and Beavers with Massive off the breakthrough there. The 1,500 metre 2-year-old, the Phoenix, is race 2, a listed contest. I believe Cape Breton is staying in Sydney. Did you have a
scratched here?
Yeah, so we'll talk about that later. But how were you looking at this race? I thought, well, I might as well lead away. I'm going with the Volcanic Rock form. Overman was a bit of a spruik horse. It beat all but it, and was pretty good last start at Rosehill, and pestered the whole way and still held on quite well. I think it gets control here, and this is essentially a midweek Queensland race. So happy to take the Metro Sydney form here from Tudu Kako, who sat outside lead last start and was pretty brave fighting on. But Craig Williams might ride the first 2 winners up there. How are you looking at it?
Yeah, I've gone the same way here, Volcanic Rock. I think this looks super hard to beat. It was a good run last start. Overman's got a little bit of ability, and he had to sit on Volcanic Rock last start, where Volcanic Rock had to do all the work up front. Again, from gate 4, probably controls the race here. We know the Waterhouse stable likes their horses to go forward, so this will be in front. It's whether they can run past. So I'm happy to play this race on the horse that's going to lead and hopefully stick on.
Beautiful. The next 2, I'm in your hands here, because these are some very Queensland races that I'm not across all the form. So you can guide me through the next 2. Race 3 is the Cutest Gold 1,300 metre race. Did you like any?
Oh, look, I didn't like anything with any confidence. Some of these horses, they bob up every now and then. They've had most of them have had better days. In the past, some of them haven't won for a while and don't win all that often. I have come up with Red Chase, so I've just gone for the horse that has only had 2 runs so far this preparation. It's third up, so it should be ready to find its best here. I thought the last run there was a little bit to like about that. It ran 6th, coming home nicely and hitting the line quite hard in the race won by Emerald Kingdom, and Tofane obviously finishing 2nd. Was at big odds, but showed a lot of improvement there. And it goes well sort of around this tracks, 1-4 from 12, and just gets, I think this sets up okay for it. Better the good track and the good draw. So I'm hoping it can sort of sit in good position and be there at the finish.
Excellent. Race 4 is a 1,000 metre listed race as well. Again, a very Queensland race. A lot of, as you said, Queensland horses that may have been around for a while. Could you separate into these?
A similar setup here, but I just think Boomtown Lass resuming is the horse to go for here. I thought last preparation was pretty good. Sort of last 5 or so starts was all in the money and raced against some good company. It's I think first up, it beat Needorp first up last preparation. It's won 2 out of 5 in 3 seconds. So it's 5 first up runs have all seen it finish first or second. And if you go back to its form last preparation, was less than a length behind the Odyssey before it went out. A Theory ran second to a Theory. So it's had some pretty good form in some pretty good company races last preparation. So I think if it's ready to go, this could be really good setup for it. Gate 10 kind of bothers me a little bit in a 1,000 metre race, but yeah, I think Boomtown Lass is a nice bet. Usmanov, I'm just not quite sure of. It had won well last start and was impressive. However, it had to sit on Sugar Boom, who's a speedy squid. We've seen that now.
Look short
and prior to that,
seems very short. Seems very short. It was
yeah. So Yeah, it's a little bit short for me, but this probably sets up okay for it as well. And then some of the others, really hard to get a guide. Again, not a lot of depth in this race. Spurcraft hasn't done much for a long time, and Dr. Zeus can run well fresh. But yeah, so I think it probably looks a setup race for the Lisbon and Boomtown Lass. Just whether Boomtown Lass gets the right cover and is ready to go, but does go well fresh.
The race 5 is the 1200 meter Morton Cup, Group 2, and I can get back off the bench now and maybe put some input into the show. I'm going to go with Splintex here, the obvious, but crossed the line with Vega 1 last start. That end probably worked hard. It did all the chasing work behind Eduardo, and was a pretty good run to still battle away. And as I said, crossed the line with Vega 1, who came out and won since, and pretty keen to back it. Actually, I think this is the weakest race it's been in for a while. The main danger, if I had one, I would say I've been with it a while, but Wisdom Water was just held up at a key point, about 300 to go, chasing Kisakani last start. But I've probably had enough of that horse. So yeah, I think Splintex very hard to beat here. What are you saying?
Yeah, I thought Splintex looked hard to beat as well, mate. It's, as you said, it gets to the right race here, gets the right draw. Vada was super impressive last start. It come home like a very good horse and hit the line very well. There was a lot of speed on in that race, and they did go pretty crazy, which did set it up for it. So it's going to need the speed on here. I'm not quite sure where the speed comes from.
I think probably Wisdom of Water and Splintex will be close to leading this.
Yeah, but I just don't know if it's going to, how quick that pace is going to be. Wisdom of Water is not, as we've seen, it sort of sat more midfield last start and didn't quite get the run. Yeah, so I just don't know about the speed here, and that's probably why I've led to Splintex just in front of Vada. I just think that the pace and the race setup might just give it a bit of slight leaning there, and but it's, again, Vada's got a bit of a weight pull. So yeah, Splintex on top for me there.
Race 6 is the listed Spear Chief handicap over the 1500 meters. You can go first here.
Yeah, thanks.
I'll go first.
I feel like that's a bit of a that's all right. I feel like it was a bit of a setup.
Oh, are you suggesting taking the easy options?
Yeah, you're not quite sure here. I'm going to go for Charlize. Just love the way it performed at Sydney last start. I did say it was one of the 2 chances when it won last start. Prior to that, very good in Melbourne, a good win, and then a very good second. So I think, again, it's just in career best form. And for that reason, in a race that's, again, not a lot of depth, it's going to be there in the finish. Again, just probably need a little bit of luck in the run. So Charlize for me in a tough affair.
Yeah, Charlize probably should have won its last 4. It was given none 2 starts back and just missed the biased 4 starts back. I'm keen to favourite Groundswell. I went looking for a reason. It was terrible last start. Went looking to the Steward's Report and saw those beautiful words, thumps. And first up off the thumps is a great winning strike rate. I learned that back all the way back to the Mosheen days. But if you follow mares off the thumps, they tend to come out and run very well next start, whatever that means. I don't know why. Not a vet. Nash goes on, gets control, and very hard to beat here, Groundswell. Talked myself into it being the best of the day, actually. Like we said about Charlize, and Louvois was very good last start as well. But yeah, keen on the leader there in Groundswell. Race number 7 over the mile is the Magic Millions National Classic for the girls. $500,000 race here. All of our old favourites turn up. What are we going to do with this? It's an interesting little race.
That's a little beauty.
Yeah, probably the race today, actually. But I've got to stick with my girlfriend in good health. Dominant last start, comes up here. The blinkers went on last start and it responded. It gets lead here, rolls forward, 2,000 back to the mile at Eagle Farm. So if you can't make ground, it's going to be an advantage there. And around it was a $7 mark last night. I think it's a very good bet. And I think around a $7 mark, Nudge is a very good saver. It was the best finisher in the lead up. That was $4.60 Nudge. Never mind. In good health. Yeah, $7. They're the 2 old back in the race. I will see how the track's playing because Polly Gray, obviously, I've been with the last few starts. The concern with that is it's been at 2,000 for quite a while and back to a mile. I don't mind sort of up and back, but it feels like Polly Gray's been up a while to be fresh enough for this. But does get Nash any cut out of the ground's an advantage. I think they're the main 3 for me. What do you make of the race?
Yeah, I think you're right with Polly Gray, the step back in distance. And I think it's a genuine 2,000 metre horse. I just don't think the 1,600 metre suits it. It's got 57 kilos. And yeah, it couldn't get me. I've gone for Rocket Clock. Yeah, I think it's just got the right sprint in a race like this to be right in the finish. Last 2 runs have been outstanding. Seems to have really found its form this preparation, and in previous preparations looked like it was a good horse with a bit of ability, and I think we're starting to see that now. So certainly like Rocket Clock. I thought Yamazaki, I thought last run was really good. There was no pace on, went around the field, got to the front, not where it really wanted to be, and I thought it stuck on quite well, and Nudge was just given the right run and was able to sit on it there. I think that won't have to happen this time, and Yamazaki can come with a similar run to Nudge, and I think given that, I think it actually can beat Nudge home in that sense. And of course your in good health is a huge chance. So I've gone Rocket Clock to beat Yamazaki and in good health as the 2 knockouts.
Yeah, I'll never knock a jockey for trying something mid-race when it couldn't have won otherwise. With Yamazaki,
that's right.
It was never going to win if it sat there. So all respect for that. And sometimes those mid-race sort of moves bring them on really well for the next run. So I like what you've said there.
Yeah.
The Group 1 Queensland Oaks is the feature of the day of the 2,200 metres. The last 5 years, Chris Waller's won 3 of them with Winx, Egg Tart, and Young Star. Over that time, he's got enough here to be very good. What's he got here? 6, 7, 6. What do you like?
It's tricky. It's a good race again. Trying to line some of this form up here. Bargain was good last week. Grayson Harmy, not quite sure what to make of its run. It wasn't really given much of a chance last start. It was sort of caught wide and back in the field. So that was hard to get a line through. I'm not sure how much that's taken out of it. You've got Duas resuming sort of after about 6 weeks off, I think, but its form has been outstanding. But I've gone for Charm Star.
Okay. So
I've gone for the New Zealand horse that had the 1 start here, so placed in the New Zealand Oaks, and I thought it stayed on really well last start in a race where a lot of them went over the sort of line close together, only words, Bargain, and the likes. I think it can be further improved by that, and I think we know it's a horse that will appreciate the extra 200 metres up to the 2,200 here, and natural improvement. And Waller has obviously got an opinion of it, having bringing it over from New Zealand and put it into a race like this. So for me, I'm going to put Charm Star on top. Duas is my next pick. It's very good in its last 3 starts, and it can run well. And Grayson Harmony, a watch on.
The run the race in the lead up was Isafar. It was 3 and 4 wide the whole way. Took off top of the bend, hit the lead early, was still forced wide, and still held him for second. And it's only at $20 tomorrow. No problem with Luke Dickman riding either. He's I think around the 20 to 1 mark. It's a great bet here. Grayson Harmony, J-Max sticks. So just half a flat run. I think it'll obviously Waller knows how to win this race. It'll be back to its best, which we saw first up at the Gold Coast and run really well. And the 2 I couldn't line up, Duas, and you can obviously line up through Bargain and that form, so we'll run well. But Media Award's the one, I guess the one all the way outside the form, which won the Morpheville Oaks, and pretty impressively chimed in and run really well. I think Isafar at the price will be my best result in the race, but Grayson Harmony and Media Award probably my other 2 results there. But I like what you've said about the other one, when hard to line up all the Waller ones. second up better for the run in Australia. I know I get what you're saying with Charm Star as well. But good race, interesting race. We wrap the day up with race 9, which is the listed Queensland Day Stakes, where I'm going to go with, it did have sort of every advantage to win, but I'm going to go with Kisakano bouncing back to form. It came at the rails and chimed in pretty impressively, and this isn't a strong race. I'm saying that form's better than sort of the Georgie's Pride form coming through the midweek stuff. How do you line it up?
Yeah, look, I thought it was nice to see Kisakano get back to its winning ways. It was a nice little win, but I just think I think Georgie's Pride is a nice little bet here. It's drawn wide, which means it does have to come across and lead, which it probably wanted to lead anyway. Just hopefully it doesn't have to use up too much petrol to get to the front. And I just think it controls this race. From the front here, I don't see too much other anything else taking it on. It's in great form. Jim Byrne aboard, he rates him well, and I'm hoping to get to the front and be too good.
You might have a good day tomorrow, Jim Byrne, actually. He's got some nice rides. No, cool. Very good. We need to do a quaddie up north. Maddie's got the pen ready for the quaddie. You can lead us away here and we'll knock out a few in the quaddie.
Yeah, no worries, mate. So first leg, a pretty tricky race. So we'll be looking to try and stay in here. I've gone 1, 3, 6, and 7.
Yep.
In the next leg, I've gone for 1, 3, 4, 5, and 7.
Yep. The only one will be Polly Gray, but happy to. We're going to need a few spots later, I'm guessing, for this one.
Yep, I think you might be right. In the next leg, 1, 3, 5, 6, 8.
I would put Media Award in just because I'm not sure how good it might be.
Okay, you can chuck that in.
Yep. Happy to come home skinny in this last one, actually, from what you've said.
Yeah, I'm happy to come home skinny here as well. We can just go 11 and 12.
Yeah, let's do that. Very good. Let's give for progroupracing.com.au my best of the day. I'm going to make it groundswell for the reasons I'm backing the thumps in again. And Nash, the value in good health. And I really like Isafar at about 20s as a bet. How about yourself, Beaver?
Yeah, my best bet comes up in race 9, number 12, Georgie's Pride. I think it'll be super hard to beat. And my value bet comes up in race 8, number 8, Charm Star.
Very good. For progroupracing.com.au, check them out for their free tips and extensive guides. We will get into the card at Rosehill Gardens, where I believe it's slow. We did have a bit of rain yesterday. Hasn't hit heavy, has it? Let me look up here. Rail was, I think, the 4 meter mark.
No, soft.
Soft.
Soft,
so,
mate.
Pretty good day in Western Sydney today. I'm thinking it probably, given it's winter, starts soft and may reach sort of a dead by the end of the day. 6 meter mark from the 1350 to the winning post, 4 meters before that. On pace would be the way to play the day, I suggest. Cape Breton stays in Sydney in the first, which is a 2-year-old race. Do you like it to lead us away at Rosehill?
Yeah, look, I do think it's going to be pretty hard to beat here. I think it's a good pointer that's keeping it in Sydney here. And as you said, I probably tend to think it might. I want to see the track, and for that reason, I think it's probably more likely to suit the on-pace runners than the back markers. So I'm going to stick with Cape Breton in the first, purely on the basis that leaders might have an advantage here, and it's staying in Sydney, a little bit skinny. But there doesn't look to be a lot of depth to the race of the Trident bunch. I thought Simba might be the main danger, but it'll probably get back a bit.
I thought the main danger for me, actually, and I don't generally do this, coming from away form, is Humble Star. I think it's been pretty good, both at starts, its run time. Looks like a horse that's going to get better over further, but around a double figure mark, I'll have something small on. I think the favourite's very hard to beat. Did have everything in its favourite, Canterbury, but I don't think there's a lot beyond the top sort of 2 in this race. So I'll be playing both of them in the first. Race number 2, the Highway, I am passing. Are you?
Yeah, same for me, mate. I've got nothing in the Highway.
Race number 3 is the 1800 meters, benchmark 72. And I'm going to actually go with Too Much Caviar here. Gets control of this race. Not a lot of chases. It's an odd little race, but it's essentially midweek staying grade. It was pretty good last start. Beat the rest at Kenzo. Was only grabbed by Easy Camp Easy, who's a fair enough Saturday horse, a decent enough horse compared to this. So I think can run well here. Outside of that, I was just looking, if I'm going to play beyond that with exotics, I'd be looking to away from. I'd be looking to Olympic Class and Red Santa maybe with some different stuff, because I'm not sure the rest of this field is that strong. What about yourself?
Look, I've gone the same way. I've gone for Too Much Caviar. I thought it was pretty good at its last start, stuck on okay. Hopefully the step up in distance, it can settle and control the race. And if there is any leader bias, it's going to benefit from that. Wicklow was very good first up and is an overseas horse in the Waller stable. So you've got to have a big watch on those horses. But second up could be a victim of that second up syndrome for a stayer. But its first outing was pretty good at a midweek and now comes to town on a weekend. So you've got to be respectful of that from the Waller stable. So I've got Too Much Caviar on top, but the only danger I think is Wicklow.
The market tends to get, for whatever reason, the Chris Waller ones very right when there's these sort of lightly raced horses. If this gets smashed, I would suggest start following the money. If it's on the way out, watch it. But you've covered off Wicklow well, eh? Race number 4 is the benchmark 72 over 1400 meters. So all of this stuff is midweek level, essentially. Did you want to have a bet in this race?
I've gone for the one down in the bottom of the weights, mate. Number 15, Scream and Shout. Mm-hmm. Really like the way that it's won its 2 first up runs. Hopefully it gets a start. Was well fancied at Kembla last start, short price, but one with some authority there. It's been gelded, seems to have done the trick here. And prior to that was very good in a maiden, albeit at Goulburn. But some of those form lines are pretty good when they come to town in races like this. So it's just been placed really well. Won really well its maiden, came back, won well at Kembla. And I think it can step through the grades here and continue to go from strength to strength. So for me, Scream and Shout.
I assume that O'Shea is waiting for one of the Chris Waller horses to get scratched to pick up a jockey there.
Highly possible.
Tends to happen. I thought Mensa Missile was really good last start. It was absolutely put to the sword by Born a Warrior. If it didn't have the pest outside it probably finishes much closer. And I think will run very well again on the track, which will suit. Tycoonist, and speaking of Chris Waller horses, Kathy O'Hara's book, that's probably the one that's going to get scratched. But I talked about it last week, how it was second up off no trial, maybe a run early, and I wanted it third up. It's now third up, quick backup. So there's 2 ticks. Gate 11 and Kathy O'Hara, I've got a feeling might be scratched the more I think about it. But if it runs, it'll run well here. They're the 2 I want to play, and we're waiting to see who jumps onto your pick there, Scream and Shout, which is probably going to end up being Kathy O'Hara. We'll see how all that plays out. Race number 5 is the 1200 meter benchmark 78. I don't particularly like the race. I defaulted to Ramstein because it splits. Horse that's since come out and run quite well, didn't it? Let me look here. Iron Power, third horse has run well since. It'll get lead here, and there's not a whole lot of chases. I had a couple of looks at Royal Banquet because I really like Blake McDougall, and the horse did some okay things last start, but it was under the whip in its trials, and if it had a trial better, I'd probably be keen to back it, but I'm probably going to watch that tomorrow and just stick with Ramstein. How about yourself?
Yeah, I thought the same as you there, mate. So this is a true winter special race. And I lent the way you did for exactly the same reasons you did. So the on-place Ramstein should lead here, and the rest of the chasers have to run past it, and it's probably going well enough to hold on. So pretty even race, but just leaning to Ramstein here. But outside of it, pretty open market.
Yeah, race number 6, 1500 benchmark 78. Where are we here? You can lead us away because probably know what you're going to tip.
Yeah, look, I've gone for Great House here.
Okay.
I think it's just a horse with its form's pretty good around some pretty average, some pretty good fields, and this is a pretty average field. I think it can actually run really well. The 1500 meters suits, does have a decent turn of foot, and Tommy Berry aboard. Looks like a nice setup. Drawn the fence. Just hopefully it doesn't get stuck there. But yeah, good chance in a pretty open race.
I'm with Love Tap. It was given absolutely none at first up. Sat wide, made pretty good ground late. 1500 was suit. I think it can just about lead this. There's not a lot of pace here, and be the one to beat. That was, I think, a listed race back to 78 grade, and it was running around in group 2 stuff and group 1 stuff last prep. Big drop in grade. Great House promised a lot. You just don't know. Gate 1, it probably runs here. Tommy Berry, I'm suggesting probably intent. Just sometimes these Waller ones, we get excited about a setup more than the race Chris Waller has in mind. But yeah, we'll see. Again, I think the money will either come if it's ready to go, or it won't if it's not. Only 2 horses I could possibly entertain in the race, really.
Yeah, look, I was a bit concerned about Love Tap. I don't think,
disappointed.
May have had a little bit of excuses first up. I was a bit disappointed with the run, and it worries me that a horse that had such good preparation on it last start, they take it to Brisbane. So you can only assume that it was going to Brisbane for a few starts, not just one start. Didn't perform that well, and then they brought it back to Sydney. So does that mean they're not so sure about its ability, or was that always the intention? And that's the bit that I question.
I couldn't imagine.
Seems odd to take it up there.
To particularly Gold Coast, I couldn't imagine them have gone there to then not run deep into the carnival. So that's fair enough too. Yeah, I know what you're saying there. So
it just worries me whether they didn't think it was a good run, and it might be better back at home against a lot less quality and depth, and that may be the case because this race has less depth, and it may be good enough to win that, but a little bit of a question mark for me as to where it's at.
Absolutely. No, respect that. We kick off the quaddie at Rose. No, we don't. This is race 7. The Winter Cup with all of our favourites, Beaver. They're all here. Going around again, up to 2,400 metres this time. The result of that was I did my default and looked for the 2,400 metre lead up, which was Stockman. Pretty good run chasing. No compromise last time. Quick backup here. It's now its 3rd run in 3 weeks. And with the setup, I'm just leaning that way over Parry Sound, who probably has to be favourite, but just doesn't win. And beyond the rest, if it's really wet, we know Burgos going to be backed. I don't really want to talk about anyone else in this race. So did you have anything you want to talk about?
Yeah, absolute garbage field. Yeah, I just thought they'd come down to the last two in the market. I think Parry Sound, I think it was solid last start, and it did lose to, I think it was Polly Gray.
Yeah.
In a bit of a ding dong down the straight, and I thought it let down okay there. And it's only got 54 on its back here. I think the race sets up. I think there's a fair bit of pace in this race. Inverloch's going to want to lead. Woogok's going to want to lead. So I don't think they're going to loaf along. Stockman's drawn gate 16, so it's probably going to have to go back or all the way forward, and I just don't see it. It's going to have to hope the other two go over, and it can get in behind them somewhere. I just think it sets up okay for Parry Sound, and obviously Knight's Order is the fresh horse on the scene. Only had 2 starts, both have seen continual improvement, and gets out here to a better distance. But Parry Sound beat at home comfortably last start, but obviously extra fitness here. So it could run well, but Parry Sound for me.
Race number 8 over the 1,800 meters, benchmark 94. What do you like?
Oh, mate, this was hard.
Look,
this was super hard.
I ended up just going back to I liked the Winter Movers last time. It chimed in pretty nicely. Having to chase from a long way out, and probably gets the same setup here. Bottega's always been one of mine, sort of been flapping about a bit, finally gets out to 800 meters. Is the other danger, but I don't really, and Pandano's not a bad horse, but you just didn't have a lot of luck at Scone. But yeah, I'm not going to be outlaying a great deal of money on this race, I suggest. What about yourself?
Yeah, I went for number 17, Monsieur Sisu. I think it's going to get control up front, likes to run along. Only has 50 kilos on its back. First 2 runs of this prep have been pretty good. So I'm just banking on it with gate 12. It's going to come out, it's going to jump out, run. And I'm hoping they try and Louise Day tries and steals this. And it's got a bit of a lead on the corner and just tries to hold on with the lightweights. Around the $11 mark, I reckon it's not a bad play in a race like this. What you see is what you get with Monsieur Sisu. It'll go like the wind, and it does pop up and win a race this time of year, and seems to be in okay form.
Race number 9 is the Rosehill Bowling Club benchmark 78 over 1,200 meters. I would probably prefer to be at the bowling club by this stage of the day. I have nothing to say beyond, I think Hellenism's over the odds. It's a highway horse, but it was quite good first up, I thought. It was about $15, but what does it all mean? I don't know. Do you have a firm opinion?
No, I didn't have much of an opinion at all here. I thought this was probably the hardest race I've seen in a long time.
Yeah.
And I really couldn't find anything. So you wouldn't want to be down to your last chasing at this point in time. Yeah, if I had to go for a pick, maybe something around the $10 mark in instant attraction might be a nice little play, but yeah, tough race.
Alrighty, we'll do a Sydney quaddie. I'll run through this and see what we've got. Let's go. Leg 1, I'm going to go 2 Love Tap, 5 Great House, 6 Saigon. I leave Zing out, so I can have my egg on my face early. 8 Parry Sound, 11 Stockman, 12 Knights Order, 1 Inverlock. What do you reckon, Inverlock, yay or nay? Tommy Berry leading.
Yeah, got to have it in.
Yep, cool. 2 Bottega.
Big Spirit Ridge last start.
Yes, true. Yeah, very good. Who was good last week. Bottega, number 2 in the 3rd leg. 6 Pandano, 12 Mubaris, 17 Montu Sisu. And we'll come home with, 4 Starla, 6 Majestic Shot, 8 Exotic Rudy, 9 Lady Bamf, 10 Instant Attraction, 11 Saha, 12 Expat, and 13 Hellenism. So you may as well go to the field if you were feeling really brave there. That's a lot in the last, so I didn't write down the percentage. For Pro Group Racing, your best and value at Rosehill on a fine Western Sydney afternoon.
My value comes up in race 8, and that is number 17, Monsieur Sisu. And my best comes up in race 7, number 8, Parry Sound.
I'm going to make my value Tycoonist if it runs. I think it'll run well, and I'll make my best Love Tap. I'll give it a second chance this one time. Don't forget to check out progroupracing.com.au for their free tips and extensive guides. Jump on all our socials, Facebook, Twitter, YouTube. Find us as well on Spotify, SoundCloud, everywhere. Good podcast. If fan, leave some comments like Timmy does each and every week. Tells us how bad we're going all the time. Thanks, Tim. It's great for our algorithm. It's good. Keep sticking around. We'll find you a winner one day. All around the rest of Australia, have you got anything else at Morphettville or Flemington?
Yeah, I did have a quick look at down at Flemington, Daggy, and I did come up with a few down there. I like race 2, number 2, Lavina. Thought it was extremely unlucky last start. Don't worry about the 5 next to its name. It'll run well. Race 3, number 12, Chief Altony, was super impressive last start. I think it can continue on its winning way. And later in the day, I did have, I thought the 1-from-1 4-leaf Riot was very good in its first run. And I think it presents good value later in the day. So there's my 3 down at Flemington.
I have nothing to add because you just took all my bets. So do what Beaver said. Interested to see the daughter of Black Caviar goes around in a 2-year-old.
Yes.
And we'll close the day out. Morphettville race 9, number 1, Canford. Just Nab Late is flying and will run very well in that race to close the day there. Good job, Beaver. Thanks everyone for joining us. I might see you for a beer tomorrow if you're free. No kids and I'm biffing the missus off to netball, so we might sneak out for a beer and do that.
Sounds like a plan, mate. Thought you'd never ask.
Oh, I know. I think you owe me one day. What's that?
No comment.
All right. Good job, mate. Good luck, punters. And we will catch everyone for our midweek preview on Tuesday night. Catch you then.